Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the real Cut My Music Wrestling. It's your boy, the Black Patriot, once again bringing you the dopest wrestling content on the net because wrestling is my number one priority and wrestling is my number one passion. That's right. Now that the introductions are out of the way, remember to hit that like, comment, share, and subscribe button. Small thing to you, but it means everything to me. It helps me grow the channel, helps me able to be and do what I do. And that's bringing you the slop. Tonight, I'm going to review AEW's Dynamite, the Beach Break episode. I've done AEW reviews before in the past for a different channel, but this is my first time solo reviewing AEW. So, don't have a partner. It's just me, just the Black Patriot, and I'm gonna make it do what it do. So, I would like to start off by saying AEW's programming tends to be very similar to WWE, as whereas everything seems like it's hastily thrown together. Things seem to not make sense. There are continuity errors throughout the entire product, and you will see moments of greatness followed by nonsensical BS that makes you just want to pull your hair out. The show started off really good. It had me really excited. I thought that it was going somewhere, and then almost immediately, like right after the first match, it started showing its true colors as the trash, garbage content that we have been known to get from AEW. At one point in time, AEW, in my opinion, was peak wrestling content. They had banger matches, they had great rivalries, they had great feuds, but now, once they tried to copy WWE, instead of staying in their own little niche, it is what it is. Dynamite kicks off with a banger. Now, people like to say that word. You hear it a lot from WWE, banger after banger after banger. This actually was a banger. Will Ospreay and Hangman Adam Page versus Josh Alexander and Konosuke Takeshita. It was Page and Ospreay versus two members of the Don Callis family. This actually kind of turned into a mafia. It seemed like they pick up a new member every week. This was a fun match. Hangman and Ospreay worked very well together. And that's wild because they're actually fighting each other in a few days. They're in the finals of the Owen Hart tournament, and the winner of that will face Jon Moxley for the World Heavyweight title. So it's wild that they were able to coexist to a certain extent when so much is on the line, down the line. This had some really good spots, yo. I'm not gonna call it spot fest or spot wrestling, but there were a couple of things that they were spots. They had to work together to pull them off, but what they were able to do, you can tell that these four guys came to wrestle. It started off with Takeshita getting absolutely blasted from every angle. Ospreay was on him. Then Hangman was on him. Then Ospreay was on him again. He was absorbing the brunt of the offense, and they were pushing offense pretty heavily until Josh Alexander was able to take out Takeshita. Take out Hangman, and this led to Takeshita being able to hit a very smooth-looking suicide dive to the outside of the ring. He was able to take out Ospreay and Hangman with that. So with that, the Don Callis family started to come back, and when I say this, they're in the ring. They're hitting each other with suplexes. They're jumping off the top rope. They're flipping off the top rope. They're doing suicide dives to the outside. They're doing twisted moonsaults from the inside of the ring to the outside of the ring. As far as wrestling goes, WWE doesn't have anything. Or this is one of the better matches that I've seen in a while. When I've seen a bunch of matches, because obviously I watch a bunch of wrestling content. I want to talk a second about Josh Alexander. I've seen him around, but you may know him from Impact. He's a former two-time Impact heavyweight champion with one of his title reigns, his second one, I believe, was the longest world title reign in Impact Wrestling history. So he's not a jobber. People say, oh, look at these jobbers. No, just because you don't know who somebody is does not mean they're a jobber. It means you might want to expand your wrestling knowledge. But right now, Josh Alexander was getting rocked by Hangman. And the only thing to stop the rocking was a slap to the face. He slapped the hell out of Hangman. Hangman goes absolutely berserk. You think he's about to kick the crap out of Josh Alexander, but Josh Alexander is actually able to wrestle him into an ankle lock. Yo, like literally put this man in an ankle lock, just stopped his offense with an ankle lock, yo. Hangman still manages to tag in Ospreay. Ospreay come in, and like I said, he's all over the place. He's flying, he's flipping, he's jumping. This man might be the best wrestler in the world when it comes to just the things that he can do in the ring. Nobody else can do this. The match is kind of a blur because they're moving 100 miles an hour. It ends when both Hangman and Will Ospreay catch Josh Alexander with their finishers simultaneously. He gets caught with a buckshot lariat and a hidden blade at the same time. Of course, he's knocked the hell out after that. I would give this match a A. If I was just judging just this sole solitary match, I will give it an A. It is one of the better wrestled matches I've seen in a long time. But like I said, this match is probably one of the best thing about the show is this match. There's a couple other things that were okay. The rest of it was the drizzle and poo. And the show shows its true colors very, very soon. There's a promo to promote Jon Moxley versus Samoa Joe heavyweight title match for the steel cage later on tonight. You would think this is something that somebody wants to see. The heavyweight title defended in a steel cage. When you think it's Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley is terrible. Just as much as I hate Gunther in WWE, Moxley is like AEW's Gunther, except he doesn't know that he sucks. He thinks he's a badass. He comes out here, he looks like a goofball. He walks like a goofball. He has goofball written all over his face. But somehow, he's the world heavyweight champion, and he doesn't even wear the belt. What kind of champion does not have the belt with him? But he's going to face Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe, I like Samoa Joe. I've been following his career for well over 20 years, and that's why I'm mad that he's the one that's in this match. He is old. He is washed. He is past his prime. The younger talent should be in this position, and Jon Moxley should just not be the champion. The Death Riders suck. Their whole storyline suck. Everything about them suck. And the Death Riders is one of the main reasons why people is tuning out. They're Death Riders, and they're riding this company to the death. Now, more jobber buffoonery after this. Top Flight calls out the Hurt Syndicate. They got their butt kicked last week by MJF. So this week, they come out and they don't address MJF. Well, they briefly do. They say, oh, we're going to get back to you. So they don't address MJF, but they call out the Hurt Syndicate. Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, two guys who have plied their trade in WWE, two guys that actually do look like superstars, that actually do have an aura about them. You call these guys out, and it's just laughable. It's laughable. Nobody cares about Dante Martin. Nobody cares about Darius Martin. If I was not watching the show, I would not know these guys. People in the arena are absolutely silent when they're out. So that's just a promo. They call these dudes out, and they're going to get their match later on in the show. Now the jobber really kicks into high gear. You have Ricochet, who is devoid of charisma. He can do a lot of good moves in the ring, but he sucks. He sucks on the mic, and he looks like a cuck. Like, I cannot take this dude seriously. His head is bald. He looks dumb. He is wrestling Zach Gowen. I have not heard that name since the mid-2000s. Why is this on your flagship weekly show? Why is Zach Gowen wrestling Ricochet on your most important show of the week? Zach Gowen, for those who may not know, he is a guy that was in WWE around 2005, maybe, so long ago. He's the one-legged wonder. He only has one leg. The guy comes to the ring on crutches. He's in his 40s. I don't care about his story. I don't care him not being, he's not inspirational. I don't care. The crowd didn't care. He gets no pop. Nobody gave a crap about this match. The man is hobbling around the ring. Ricochet is terrible as usual. The match is just trash. It's stuff like this that gets AEW its bad name and its bad reputation. It's stuff like this, making it on to actual cable television and streaming services, that is making viewers turn away from the product in droves. And I'm going to get back to the viewership later. But it's stuff like this that the average fan, the casual fan, will see something like this and completely tune out and completely ignore the absolute banger of a match that was put on at the beginning of the show. AEW needs to focus on their niche and stop trying to be entertainment. Leave the WWE, leave the entertainment to them. Focus on the W. All Elite Wrestling. I want to see more Will Ospreay. I want to see more Hangman. I want to see more of MJF being a villain. I don't want to see MJF getting cucked out to the Hurt Syndicate. And I'm going to get to that too later. But these kind of matches, a 40-year-old paraplegic in the ring wrestling, come on, man. I am convinced that Tony Khan and Triple H smoked the same crack. Like, how are two wrestling promoters putting out utter butt water every single week? It's crazy. The crowd was bored to silence. That should never happen in a pro wrestling event. It should never be silent in the arena. And if that doesn't get to Tony Khan's head, that what he's putting out is not palatable, is not edible, is not consumable, is bad content, then I don't know what else will. He had to move his shows to smaller venues because he couldn't sell tickets at the large stadiums. He had to go to arenas. The arenas are not full, and the crowd that is in attendance are silent? What are we doing here? What is going on? The shows lack continuity. You have no idea what's going on. The shows lack star power, and they have a bunch of good wrestlers signed to their roster. Where's Cope? Edge was not on the show. Where's Christian Cage? Christian Cage was not on the show. Where's Adam Cole? Adam Cole was not on the show. MJF was on the show, but he did not wrestle. Why are your main stars not showing up to work? Mercedes Moné was on the show, but she didn't wrestle. Jamie Hayter was on the show, but she did not wrestle. Why are the big names, the names that people actually want to see, the names that people actually care about, why are they not wrestling? Why are they not showing up? It makes no sense, yo. The match, and then later on, we go backstage, we get MJF again. He's talking, and He's backstage, and then the Hurt Syndicate come out and surround him and tell him it's imperative that he comes to the ring, and he's standing there looking scared. This man once called himself the devil. He was AEW's greatest villain. Now he's scared of the Hurt Syndicate. Like, I can only sigh. There's nothing that explains this. This man is a great promo. Underrated as hell in the ring. Some people think he can only talk and can't wrestle. MJF can actually wrestle. He has been responsible for some of the most dastardly deeds in AEW's history. He beat CM Punk to a bloody pulp. Why now is he seeking approval from the Hurt Syndicate? Why does he even want to be a part of this group? MJF is a solo act, but it is what it is. Like I said earlier, the Hurt Syndicate are the only stars on the show, so I guess you got to put MJF with them because they're the only ones with aura. Everybody else just looks like the jobbers that they are. Like, these guys lack size. I don't know why Tony Khan never uses his big man. You would look at AEW and you would think there are no men on this roster that weighs more than 200 pounds. There are. He has some huge guys on his roster, but he only showcased the little small guys. And I know a lot of those guys I like. Will Ospreay, Hangman Adam Page, Swerve Strickland. A lot of these smaller guys there, because their leaner size allows them to be more athletic in the ring. They can run around, they can do a lot of things. But at the end of the day, it's professional wrestling. We grew up on Hulk Hogan's, we grew up on Undertakers, we grew up on Ultimate Warriors. These guys were monsters. Tony Khan need to utilize his big guys. They had their number one star was fucking Wardlow, and they dropped the bag with Wardlow, and I have not seen Wardlow in months. Why is Wardlow not on these shows? You mean to tell me you had this guy as one of the most over guys in the industry and you can't build him back up? Like, what is going on here? So, next is the Hurt Syndicate versus Top Flight. Actual superstars, Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley, the Hurt Syndicate versus jobbers. Top Flight is boring. Top Flight has no aura. Top Flight has no charisma. Nobody cares about Dante and Darius Martin. They don't even look like professional wrestlers. They look like just guys. But anyway, the match actually starts off pretty fast and furious. Top Flight was actually getting in some good offense. They were bumping off of Bobby and Shelton. Bobby and Shelton are big, strong, powerful guys. They look like weightlifters. They're from WWE, so they're big, and you got Top Flight, these little guys, but they actually get some pretty good offense in until they do not. Their last great hoorah was Dante Martin jumped out of the ring for a suicide dive, and Bobby Lashley caught him and actually started curling him. But little did he know, his brother was right behind him, coming flying out of the ring, crashing into both of them, taking Bobby Lashley out. Then just the momentum changed. Like Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley must have woke up. It was like, these guys are jobbers. Time to kick their behinds. And that's what happens. They proceed to put a beat down on these dudes, the likes of which, like, it should happen. They should have mopped these dudes up. They should have packed these dudes up a long time ago. They proceed to beat them down. The match is nothing. It's only to set up what happens next. After this, after they destroy these guys, they call out MJF and tell him to come to the ring. Remember this. MJF was once the devil of this company. MJF music hits, he does not come out. MVP tells Shelton Benjamin to go find him. So Shelton Benjamin goes to the back. He's in the back looking for him. This Bama, MJF, is hiding in the gorilla position up under a table because he's scared of what they want him to come to the ring for. And to top that off, to make it even more dumb, to make him even more stupid, Tony Khan is standing right there pointing to the table, ratting them out. So not only is Tony Khan bad at his job, he can't book for nothing, he's also a snitch. Like, they drag MJF to the ring only to give him the thumbs up treatment. He wants to be in their group. Okay, fine. MJF thumbs up, Shelton Benjamin thumbs up. Of course, Bobby Lashley got to draw it out. And, oh, am I going to put my thumb up? Am I going to put my thumb down? He finally gives MJF the thumbs up. MJF is part of the Hurt Syndicate now. Where is this going to go from now? And the whole time MJF been talking like it's going to elevate him back to the world title. But Bobby Lashley is the actual star. Bobby Lashley actually looks like a star. Bobby Lashley is super jacked. He's a big dude. He's from WWE. He's the star. I feel like somehow they're going to come to odds with each other. Maybe MJF and Bobby Lashley. I feel like they're going to come to odds. I cannot see this being set up to be MJF's group. I don't know where it's going to go from here, but I don't think MJF is going to come out on top of this. I think it's going to end up being Bobby Lashley to the world title. Then next, we have the women's four-way eliminator match. And while the match itself was good and I like these girls involved, I hate the eliminator concept because it's stupid. It makes no sense. If you're the world champion, then everybody under you should be vying to fight you. Toni Storm is the AEW Women's World Champion. Why is she even in this match? And also, because the way the eliminator is set up, Toni Storm doesn't even have to be involved in the pinfall. She don't even have to be pinned to lose this match. But no matter who wins, as long as it's not Toni Storm has to defend her title against that person. How does this benefit the champion? She should not even be in this match. She should have been out there on commentary like she's watching the match, and 4 other women should have been fighting for an opportunity to face her. But it is what it is. She's in the match, and she ended up getting pinned in this match. So you got your Women's World Heavyweight Champion on free television getting pinned in a match she shouldn't even have been in for no reason but just that she has to defend her title. But mind you, if it wasn't her that got pinned, she would have still had to defend her title. It's dumb. It's stupid. It makes no sense. I like Toni Storm. She's one of my favorite female wrestlers. I like Azumi. She's one of my favorite Japanese wrestlers. I like Mina Shikawa as well. All the girls are good, but they are jobbers. With the exception of Toni Storm, the rest are jobbers. Sky Blue was also in this match. Why does any of these women even deserve #1 contenders match? If anything, Mercedes Moné is the #1 contender, or Jamie Hayter is the #1 contender, or even Julia Hart, or even Willow Nightingale, or Chris Statlander. Why is Sky Blue in a match with the world champion? She just was injured, so she hasn't wrestled in 10 months, all right? Mina Shirakawa is just signed with the company, so she doesn't deserve a title shot either. And AZM Azumi is not even an active member of AEW roster. She's a member of Stardom. She's the New Japan Strong Women's Champion. She is not even an active member of the roster. Why is she in this match? So Toni Storm is in a match that she doesn't belong in because she is the actual champion, because it's a #1 contenders match to see who fights her. She's in a match with people that are undeserving. Like I said, Why aren't the actual females that are stars fighting for the right to face Tony Storm? Why isn't it, and I'm going to do Tony Khan's job for him real quick off the top of my head. Why isn't it Megan Bain versus Penelope Ford versus Chris Statlander for a number one contendership match? Why isn't it your top women wrestling? Why are the jobbers wrestling? And why is the women's world heavyweight champion in a jobber throwaway match that doesn't mean anything? Because we all know that the lady that wins the Owen Hart tournament is going to face the champion anyway. So Tony Storm is not going to lose to Mina Shirakawa. Even though Mina Shirakawa won this match, when it comes with a title match, you already know Tony Storm is not going to lose because she's going to face the winner of the Owen Hart Women's Tournament. It's predictable. It's remedial. It's circular booking that goes nowhere. It's dumb. Next, they do a tribute to Sabu. If you didn't know, Sabu recently passed away. The homicidal, genocidal, suicidal maniac. That same guy from ECW. Rest in peace, Sabu. They do it, and Taz gets really emotional. Obviously, Taz and Sabu go way back. Next up, we have a promo session that is so bad that the crowd visibly looked bored. They was restless. They were looking at their phones. They looked like they were looking for the exit. Like some people looked antsy. They looked like they wanted to leave. Like they were tired of the show. And I think I fell asleep watching it. Like, and I'm in the comfort of my own home. How is your main show putting your viewers to sleep? These people paid for tickets, so they wanted to be there. Like, and they were bored out of their mind. Nigel McGuinness comes out and cuts a promo with Daniel Garcia. Nigel McGuinness is retired. He's been retired for years, but somehow Daniel Garcia is coming out here asking him for help versus FTR. FTR is probably the best tag team on AEW's roster. They're in the prime of their career. They're in fighting shape. But Daniel Garcia is going to ask a retired commentator for help. Didn't Gunther just face Pat McAfee? Pat McAfee being a WWE commentator at a WWE pay-per-view that was terrible, and then their match was terrible, and oh, here's AEW copying WWE, but just put their old spin on it, and it's going to be terrible. This promo was terrible. Stokely comes out there, I guess, on behalf of FTR. He's like, oh, I'm going to speak for them. FTR is not here. And you knew as soon as he said that FTR was, in fact, actually there. They come out and they put a beat down on Nigel McGuinness and Daniel Garcia, and thankfully end this boring promo. It was terrible. It was caca. It was trash on fire with doo-doo on top of it. It was just disgusting. The crowd was bored. The crowd was tired. The crowd was weary. They looked like they wanted to be somewhere else. You could see it on their face. You could see it in their body language. That is ridiculous. The main event is next. And when I realized I was at the main event portion of the show, I uttered to myself, thank God, because this means this terrible show is almost over and I cannot watch this crap anymore. And the main event was everything that I knew it was going to be with Jon Moxley and Samoa Joe. Tomfoolery and debauchery on a grand stage. It was disgusting. The match was a steel cage match. The match was significant because it was the first time that the AEW title has been defended in a steel cage. But who cares? It's Jon Moxley. He's a charisma vacuum. He's terrible. Nobody wants to see him. Jon Moxley and his stable, the Death Riders, is the biggest reason why AEW is hemorrhaging viewers. They are bleeding out, and the blood is viewers. The blood is ticket sales. They had to move from stadiums because they could not sell them out to these little small arenas. The Death Riders is killing this brand, and I am not the only content creator that has said that. Everybody knows this is terrible except for Tony Khan. I don't know what his problem is. How can you not look at your low viewership? How can you not look at your declining ratings and be like, we need to change something? But no, they won't. They don't have to. It's wild for them to be considered the second-rate promotion compared to WWE, but for them to be just as arrogant is just wild. You would think AEW, in the position that they're in, being seen as second-rate, will actually listen to the fans, but nope. They never give their audience what they want to see. WWE gives you kind of what you wanted to see with trash in it. AEW never gives the fans what they want. It's almost like Tony Khan has turned into Vince McMahon in the late 2000s, when Vince would go out of his way to not book what the fans wanted. It's like Tony Khan is now the anti-Vince, the anti-wrestling. He will purposely go out his way to give the fans the opposite of what they like. This main event match was horrible. Almost less than a minute into the match, Jon Moxley is completely busted open and bleeding everywhere. Like, so is that just part of his gimmick now? He just has to bleed, yo. And when he was making his way to the ring, a graphic popped up on the screen and said he was 5-0. What? He's been the champion for months and months and months, holding the belt hostage, not bringing it out to the shows, keeping it in a briefcase where nobody can see it. But this man has only had 5 matches. But the whole thing was trash. The whole thing was trash. The cage match, the ending, everything was trash. And I'm going to just cut right to the end of this because nobody cares. Tony Khan and AEW had an opportunity to take the belt off of Jon Moxley. At this point, anybody as champion is more better than Moxley. Moxley will be the death of the company. I don't know what kind of creative control he has. I don't know what kind of loaded pistol he has to Tony Khan's head, but he is terrible as champion. He needs to drop the belt fast. AEW chose to continue with him to the detriment of their own product. Be that as it may, this episode of Dynamite was absolutely garbage. I'm the Black Patriot, guys, and I will continue to bring you wrestling content unbiased. If I watch something and I say it's trash, you better believe it's trash. You better believe it's Monday and the trash is getting picked up. The trash men are out. It's garbage. I will always be truthful and I will always be honest in my reviews. And this AEW was garbage, yo. Remember, guys, like, comment, subscribe. Help your boy out. Help me grow the channel. I grow, you grow, we grow together. Peace out. Stay safe.